Hey guys, so in the previous video, we covered the problem statement. In this video, we're going to cover some of the key LBO assumptions. Let's start, right? So don't get worried by how this tab looks. We're just going to go step by step and build everything that we can right now. So let's start with entry, right? Entry here. Let's just link it to some of the assumptions. 2020, we're not doing anything fancy, just linking it here. Acquisition multiple, EV by EBITDA LTM is what have they told us? 10x, right? That's here. EBITDA LTM will be nothing but FY20. So that is just 117. EV will be nothing but EV by EBITDA into the EBITDA, right? So this is much. Equity value plus debt minus cash is equal to EV. So we're going to make that adjustment to compute equity value. So let's compute the total debt. Let's go to the balance sheet. So we have revolver plus term loan 1 first liens plus term loan 2 second liens plus borrowings. At this stage, remember, revolver, term loan 1, term loan 2 don't exist. This is before we buy the company, right? Hence, these line items are zero. They will have term loan 1 and term loan 2 will have a positive balance in FY21 and going forward, but revolver, it'll depend on whether or not we need the money. But before you acquire the company, it's not been acquired, right? So there was no need for that financing. Hence, it's zero. This here, total cash. Let's just here. This, right? 67. Now, equity value will be enterprise value minus debt plus value plus total debt minus this should be equal to 11600. Just let's see if we've gotten that right. A plus B, C should be 11600. That's correct. So now that we have this exit, don't worry, we will figure this out once the model has been built. Returns also, don't worry. This will come again once the model has been built. Uses of cash, right? So when I buy a company, there will be like a sources and a uses schedule. What does that mean? When you buy a car, right? What are the uses of cash? You're using the cash to buy the car, right? In this case, you're using the cash to buy the company. So there will be an equity purchase. How much will that be? You're acquiring 100%. So it'll be nothing but the equity value that has been imputed at this 10x multiple, right? Now, one more thing, right? Typically, when you do a leveraged buyout, when you buy out a company, you will have to retire the existing debt on the books of the company. Now, you might ask me why. That's because typically debt holders will have covenants that say, hey, in the case of acquisition of this company, before somebody else acquires the equity shares, they're going to have to pay down the existing debt on the books of the company. That's the reason we're doing it. So we're going to need to raise, in addition to raising money to buy out this company, we're going to need to raise additional money to pay down the debt of this company, right? So retiring existing debt will be this, right? This amount. So the total debt on the books of the company when just before we're going to buy it. So the total uses of cash will be nothing but this plus this. Now, the most important thing to remember is this is uses of cash. It's like saying, I need to buy a car, it cost me 10 lakhs, but there's say another lakh of road tax and a lakh of, I don't know, some insurance. How will I fund that, right? I'm going to fund that either through equity, the money that I put down, or debt that I raised from the bank, right? So when I buy this car for 10 lakhs and 2 lakhs of additional charge, 12 lakhs, say I put down 6 lakhs and say 6 lakhs I get as loan from the bank. So that's what we're going to do in sources of cash. That's it. Nothing else fancy. So at the start, they've told us nothing about revolver, right? In terms of how much it finances. They've just told us that 4 turns of EBITDA are going to come in terms of line 1 and 0.5 turns in terms of line 2. So let's just link that in, right? So let's go over here. Already linked it in to make things simpler, which is nothing but just linking it from here. All of these assumptions, right? From the term, the multiple, right? The mandatory amount, interest rate, cash sweep. Same things over here. Let's just compute the amount, right? So what will this be? This will be 4 turns of this EBITDA, right? That's it. Nothing fancy. Same thing for lien 2 will be what? 0.5 turns of this EBITDA, right? Again, nothing fancy. So let's just link the amounts here. This much here. This much here. Revolver, we've not been given any assumption. So let's assume when we buy this company out, there's going to be no revolver balance that we draw down at the time of acquisition. Let's just make this 0. And what are the total uses? They have to match total sources, right? This number has to be equal to this number, which basically means this number will just be a plug. Then it will be this minus sum of this. Right? We have this. This gives us a multiple of total EBITDA. Why is this 10.6 and why is this 10? That's because we're retiring existing debt, right? We got to pay 0.6 turns of EBITDA to retire this debt. That's why. So we've covered term loan lien 1, term loan lien 2. Year of entry again. Let's just link this 20. Year of exit 2025. Minimum cash. Have they told us something? Yeah, they told us 10 crores, right? Which means the company should always have 10 crores of cash on its balance sheet. That's going to be this. We'll fit this into the debt schedules, but don't worry about it for now. Cash interest rate, have they told us anything? Yeah, 2%. There's nothing but the rate of return they're going to get on cash on the books of the company. LIBOR, what is LIBOR? 0.4. Interest rate on revolver, LIBOR plus 5. Annual currency depreciation will be, what is the annual currency depreciation? They've told us to assume 4%. USD INR rate in 2020, assume it to be 75, and then at a 4% depreciation, this will be 78 bucks, right? In the ultimate year. So that's fine. Now we've got to compute goodwill, right? So as we mentioned some of the previous videos, why does goodwill arise when you buy an asset? Typically, when you spend more on an asset than the book value, goodwill just acts as a plug. So let's compute goodwill, right? So what is the total net worth, the book value, balance sheet? It's going to be this amount. It's going to be this plus this, correct? Yeah, it's going to be this. What is the total purchase amount? This, right? Like the total amount of money they're using to buy the company, 1, 2, 3, 4. So everything over and above this is going to be goodwill. Wait, 1 minute. Sorry. I just made a small error here. It shouldn't be the equity purchase amount. It should be the equity purchase amount, which should be this, not the total uses. My bad. So goodwill will be this much. So in this video, we covered some of the key LBO assumptions. In the next video, we are going to go and we're going to build the pro forma balance sheet when we acquire this company. So this is the balance sheet of the company just before acquisition. But the way we're going to assume this acquisition happens is we raise the debt and we raise the equity. We raise this much amount of money in a shell company, and that shell company acquires this other company, and then they merge both assets. And as a result of which you have a new balance sheet that's created just after the acquisition. And that's called the pro forma balance sheet. So we're going to make adjustments here and we're going to have the pro forma balance sheet here. So see you guys in the next video.
Hey, thanks a lot for watching the video. Hope you found it useful and also got a few actionable insights.
Check out our website and join the mailing list for regular content. Do spread the word and share it with anyone else you think might find this useful.